Hello everyone, Eon here, and it's Friday night, February 21st, 2025 as I record this. I just wanted to go over and look a few campaign websites. I know I typically stick to Patreon and MyMiniFactory Tribes, things like that, but I'm a big proponent of Kickstarters and things like that, and Gamefound has really taken off. And like, I have not looked at Star Trek Ascendancy, for instance, and I know that one's getting pretty huge, and I do consider myself a bit of a Trekkie to some extent. I really enjoy Star Trek, but here we have, they've already reached over $1 million in funding that we can see here for this game. It's 7.8 on Board Game Geek, 3 new civilizations. Oh, Terrans, that's a reference to Discovery, isn't it? I have not caught up on a lot of the newer Trek stuff, I'll be honest. But commit research, command phase. Me and my brother growing up, we always liked looking at the Star Trek command, the customizable card game. So this always brings back some nostalgia for those memories. Cardassian Dominion. That's pretty cool that they all have these different factions and the unique architecture of these different beings. So anyway, I just hadn't clicked on that. So what I wanted to show you was Massive Darkness, Dungeons of Shadowreach, and I think this one's already actually hit its goal and funded. So it's kind of pointless for me to even look at it, but I can proudly look at it and say, I did not back this. I did not put money to it. And that's because I've already backed the original Massive Darkness and Massive Darkness 2, and I really didn't need to put a whole lot of more money into something. Now, this is not 3D printable. These come as a board game, but it's a dungeon crawler, and whenever you have dungeon crawlers, you have my attention. I start to get interested. It goes back to my early childhood memories of Hero Quest. That was my gateway drug, was Hero Quest. So being able to see this and being able to see all the different things here, I'm going to wait now. Wow, $340 for the Adventurer's Sword. I think that was the pretty much get it all type deal. And yeah, I avoided looking at it because I knew I was going to be way too tempted to look at these miniatures and grab a hold to this package when I've already got enough stuff to probably last a lifetime. But that one's gone. Another one that's coming up is Fighting Fantasy. Now, a group of friends that I used to play games with, and unfortunately a lot of us moved away and went on with our lives in different ways, they used to talk about this a lot. And I'm not overly familiar with these books, but these books were kind of like, play by yourself stories. And they're doing this reward here. Maybe I'm zoomed in a little bit too much. And if you have strong feelings about me doing these as web browsing, please let me know. Being able to just browse the web and show you what's there and what's live and what's different is probably, in my opinion, the best way I can show you this. I know it's not the most fun thing to watch someone else browse the internet, but I just wanted to show you that this is out there. So if you have memories of Fighting Fantasy, I feel like I backed it. Did they do a Kickstarter for this a few years ago? It seems like they did. I'm not sure, but I just wanted to make sure that you knew that was out there. So that's Gamefound. Massive Darkness is done. There's other stuff coming out. That's it. Now, the reason I have this page up is just to show you. We're going to go into Kickstarter real quick. So let's look at Kickstarter. Really quick, want to give a shout out to STL Miniatures, which is doing the 1001 3D printing bits. And I think he just added anvils. I think anvils was the current thing. I'm going to scroll really fast down here, sorry. Yeah, he just added anvils to this. And they're adding clocks and bells, and they're just constantly adding little bits and things like that. And someone in the comments said that you could, was it Lord? I forget. But someone said that you could actually take the miniatures and kind of mesh them together. And I think that's a great idea, actually. Something I hadn't really thought about doing. In order to get the effect that you really wanted. Like maybe you want the zombie hand to be next to the necromancer or something like that. But, for about, $41 US, because I'm in the US, it's a pretty decent deal as well. And then there's the Ultimate Collection here, which includes some other Kickstarters and stuff too that they've done. So just want to give them a shout out real quick. Trench Pilgrim was released January 24th. I don't know that we looked at this one. But this is by Black Cobra Miniatures. So if you have any interest in Trench Crusade, which is of course the current hotness, and I could see where it does. It definitely fits the grimdark motif. It has its factions. It has its miniatures. I'm not overly familiar. I completely missed out on the Kickstarter for that one. And that was not me actively ignoring it like I did Massive Darkness. It was there. I think I heard about it, didn't know anything about it, and then it ended, and it was like, yeah, this one did really well. I was like, okay, I did not know that. The sewer district I thought was interesting as well. These are tiles for your sewer terrain. DM Stash did something similar a couple months ago, a month or so, I think it was in January, and I guess that's kind of the trash compactor. We know what movie that's from, don't we? But just to kind of see all the different things that they've added to these sewer tiles here, $36 for the whole thing here, and you can see what all you get if you want a set of sewers for your world. And this is by Kathy Millett. I am not familiar with that creator. Little vent droids, those are cool. Wall Workshop was put out by Wildform, and so if you're looking for a way to organize your hobby space, look, somebody just pledged as we're watching. This is going up as well, so you can put your bottles of paint up, you put some drawers, just kind of organize the space behind. And this is all 3D printable. We've seen similar things by this before. The early bird is still available at $19, which is not a bad price for this. And you print what you need. Look, a little paint rack. I remember having a fit to buy one of those when I was a little boy for my hobby paints. Miniature painting grip at $10,000 has been unlocked. So lots of cool stuff there as well. Realistic Rust Viking Village. This is by Key Kappas. She is very prolific and does Kickstarters constantly. I think she's always got one to go the moment she finishes up one. And this is a Viking village, $16. Not bad at all. You can also get the previous set as well, and you can also subscribe to a commercial license for that as well. But Key Kappas does great job with the work here. You know what? Getting that commercial license would be kind of interesting. But again, this is very fine detail work, stuff that you'd want to print in resin. I saw this and thought that it was kind of appropriate to point out for anybody that loves dogs. This is done by 3D IP Studios, and 3D IP Studios does some good jobs. They have a core set of dogs, so if you have a particular favorite breed, you've got the breed that you can do. I could see if you, do they have a commercial license? They do, and the commercial license, a little on the pricey side, not terrible though, but imagine being able to print these, and especially if you're really good at doing a paint job very quickly and allowing people to paint their breed of dog. I could definitely see this being like a street fair favorite. They have Rottweilers and Great Danes, Maltese Bicken, I'm not sure, I recognize the dog, I don't know the name. Dalmatian, doesn't have its spots yet, does it? It's your job to put those on there. Pug, a Shar-Pei, a Husky, Yorkshire Terrier, a Beagle, Dingo, Saint Bernard, a Greyhound, Great Anglo-Francois, Border Collie. Used to seeing those black and whites. I guess, again, you got to put the colors in. Basset Hound, a Pharaoh Hound, a Mastiff, a Bulldog, a Retriever, Airedale Terrier, Doberman German Shepherd, Cocker. I just put Cocker. I've always heard Cocker Spaniel. French Bulldog, a Corgi, a Shiba, Chihuahua. Not all these to scale to one another, of course. Spanish Water Dog, a Pit Bull, a Chow Chow. And they've got some stretch goals listed as well. So if you are really interested in any of these, then definitely worth taking a look at this, especially if you have any interest in dogs. I also wanted to point out Soul Good Forge, who we have looked at in some of the Patreon and Tribes, is doing a series of females this month. Subscribers get a $30 deal. Early bird is $35 for everyone else. So you get these fantastic ladies of the dimensions too. And I got to be kind of careful here because I'm not sure if any of these are not safe for work. But we have Iga the Tamer. She's a cave girl. Diana Lita. It's a lot more syllables there than I was anticipating. Centina, a cyborg. It's cool. Very detailed work. Decapitrix. I wonder what she likes to do with a name like that. Karada, female tiefling thief. Thanatos, a female Grim Reaper. Domina Monstra, the Gargoyle Queen. Trying to see how well she compares to Demona, if she's going to be a gargoyle. We have Six Gun Charlene, the female human gunfighter. Instead of using my mouse wheel, let me scroll over here on the side. This may be too fast. We have a Claw Kill bust. We have a bust of Six Gun, Iga, Decapitix, Domina. So they're unlocking busts of these ladies as well. So just kind, and they're knocking out some stretch goals here. I'm impressed. So definitely worth checking out. They're going to add Pivy the Red, female human barbarian. Yeah, so if you're interested in that, some great busts. This is RNE Studio, who is very prolific both on Patreon, on Tribes, and on Kickstarter. It's like a three-front terror. They are doing, this month is, Myth Explorers 2, The Adventure Creator, and the Golden Griffin Manor. And I don't know about you all, but Time to Hunt 2. I look at these figures, and to me, they say video game character. That's the vibe I get from these guys. Order of the Iron Lily, and ladies, they strike me as video game characters. Sands of Time 1. Sands of Time 2. And they have a very good, very unique style, in my opinion, as well. And to get everything, it's 31, and they've still got about 60 slots left as I record this. So if you have any interest in that, definitely worth checking out. It's not a bad deal for the number of minis you get there. It's like several months worth of a tribe. I also saw Tokugawa Ashigaru army for samurai. So if you have any interest in samurai warriors, we have these miniatures here. This is by Forged Path Miniatures. I don't know them off top of my head. Their early bird is $45. They only got 3 spots left as I'm recording this. So there's this going on right here. You can see they have all sorts of different rank and file troops. Cannons and samurai fighting, a medical team, elite guard, and monks. And they've got some stretch goals as well. So if you're having interest in that, pretty cool there to look at too. Terminus Frontier is one that was off my radar. Now, this is not a 3D printable thing. This is a cooperative board game. And I saw this from On Tabletop. And they were talking about this, Terminus Frontier. And this is one of those things that I need to stay away from because, again, it's going to hurt my wallet. It's $125 for the basic pledge, $225 for the Frontier pledge, and then the Commander pledge is $335. And then they have the Forgeborn Investor at $1,500. So that's for the people who, I guess, really want to help craft the game. But there's the all-in if you want to get in type deal. I think this is Forgeborn Games. This is their first creation. I think there was a reference to Gloomhaven, that this is kind of like Gloomhaven sci-fi sort of stuff. So you can see these come with miniatures. And I have not had a chance to really look at these yet. Because like I said, I know myself, and I do not need 1 to 4 players, 2 to 3 hours a session, 100+ hours of combat, epic cooperative board game, 1 to 4 players, 5 with expansion. And it's sci-fi. And see, that's the stuff they get you with right there. Kickstarter free gift. If you do the Kickstarter, you're going to get these special exclusives that you can't get after the campaign. And then I get that fear of missing out. And that's where they get you. Yeah. Over 100 hours of play content. And you can see, if you see my little bar over here on the right, like I'm not even a fourth of the way down scrolling yet. We have characters with cards. They show you some animations of how to play. Obviously cards, cool miniatures. Of course, they're painted in the images they show you. Of course, they're not going to come that way, but wow, they have a whole card book, a star sector map. You know what? That's actually a really cool idea, to show how the ship moves around through the space. That's not a terrible idea. I don't really know what I just looked at, but yeah, I'm here for the minis, y'all. R45 Decimator, the Maverick, the Zealot, the Operative, the Vanguard, the Defiled, or just Defiled. And then, of course, what's in the box? You get the 4 Hunters, Drift Hunters, there's skill decks, mantra cards, character standees, really at this price point. I guess that's why they have to Kickstarter it, right? Maybe they'll get you some miniature add-ons to put miniatures instead of standees. Rule books, scenario books, explorations. So there's your bad guys. There's your enemies. Nova Enforcers, Scrappers. And if you don't have a 3D printer, these are the types of things that are really good to get, because then you have access to these types of things. You have some doors, you have some terrain, you have some miniatures that can be used as proxies for other stuff too. Of course, I don't really need anything else, but yeah. So I just wanted, I think this is just about, no, it's not the last one. It's just about the last one. And then we have MyMiniFactory Frontiers, a bunch of Frontiers. That's right, I have a whole bunch of stuff here. So let's look at some MyMiniFactory Frontiers real quick. So I saw Tales from the Radiation Zone. This is the MyMiniFactory edition of this. And Tales from the Radiation Zone. So this is kind of the Trench Crusade of sorts. But when I saw Radiation Zone, I was thinking of, is it 5 Parsecs? There's a miniature agnostic game which is kind of based around Roadside Picnic. And I have the books here, and I can't think of what it's called offhand. I feel like it's 5 Parsecs from Home. But there's that. I just wanted to point that one out real quick. There's Build a Trench. So if you have any interest in Trench Crusade and you need the ability to build some trenches, here's a Frontier that's got you covered. And trench walls only are $22. The all-in is $43. That's a little pricey in my opinion, but depending on what you want, this is worth taking a look at least if you have any interest. Beasts and Buddies is done by EC3D Design, and I really like the paint jobs on these. Like, they almost look like they should glow under a black light. Very nicely done. And some ghouls, hags, ogre warband, skeleton soldiers, offerings, dark elf raiding party. Pretty cool minis. Corpse crawler and owlbears. You know, your typical low-level dungeon stuff. Rotting guards and mimics, of course. I also wanted to point out Ugni, who we've recently added to our Patreon tribe videos, is doing a Black Orcs fantasy football team. So the early bird has ended, unfortunately, but you can get the team for $20, the rock band for $15, or you can get it all for $33. And I just thought it was kind of cool to see the Black Orcs, because I remember that was one of my first things when I saw Warhammer Fantasy, was the idea of a Black Orc being the idea, and it was just a bigger orc, pretty much. And so I just thought that was kind of cool. But you can see these are, you know, very Very inspired by like kind of that Mad Max, you know, post-apocalyptic sort of vibe. Is that like a chainsaw troll? White Angel miniatures we've had around for a while, and again, I think I'm finally understanding their Patreon. So they do a Patreon release, but then they also do a Frontier release as well. And this is the end of the Dark Elves, so they're doing Dark Elves this month as their Frontier. So Dark Heavy Hydra, Shadows, Dark Mother Dragon, Dark Mother Pegasus, Dark Sorceress, Master Beast Manticore. And they show you all the different options, how to put these things together. And there's a list of everything that you get for this campaign. And it's $25. I think there may be a discount if you're part of their Patreon or tribe. But I don't even know if they have that, to be honest. Yeah. Like they said, you don't have to choose. It's the only tier. So you have to give them that. They take away the choice. You either get it at that price or you just don't. Tiles from the Crypt, whom I've recently kind of added to the videos too the last few months, has got right now the Tiles from the Crypt Forgotten Forests, and you can see I was having they have a YouTube video here that goes through and shows you what they're looking at. Their tier is currently an early bird at $30. If you have any interest in this, let's look and see real quick what they have here. So what do you get? You get some 21 different flat ground tiles. You get some various stumps, rocks, and trees. Some transition pieces. Some things to kind of put them together. So a little bit more detailed tiles than you normally see, and the paint job on that's amazing. Now they're putting in some lichen or some foliage to really add up to the buff of the trees. Obviously you're not going to print that, but definitely worth checking out. Can't talk about Frontiers without shouting out one-page rules. The last tier. I feel it's the last tier, but it could be the last tear. Great Rift tore apart, so I think it's the tear. Sorry. Last tear is all new narrative campaign, and what you need for this, you're going to get a copy of the rules, and the big thing here is the heroes. They've got these Ratmen characters, and you can get some Ratmen figures as well if you have not been backing one-page rules for a while. Oh, I hadn't really noticed the little buildings. That's pretty cool. As well as the Daemons of War, for them to have something to fight against. And so they do have several different tiers that you can get for the last tier. It's kind of confusing to say here. So the Heroes pack, which is the basic pack, is $10. But you can also get various packs as to how many miniatures you want to add to your army. And if you want to do Ratmen and Demons, or just Ratmen, or just Demons as well. So definitely worth checking out from one-page rules as well. And then we have the Grim Chronicles, and I have probably made this video way too long. In fact, I'm 23 minutes, we're not too bad. But the big one here is the Grim Chronicles. They just put this out today. It's 20 days left, 81 pioneers. I'm one of those 81, just saying. I'm just not logged into my personal account here. So what we have here is we have the Whispering Pages is the early bird at $18. And notice there's no pioneers for that one. Everybody's going for the bigger tiers here. They're either going for Silent Pages, they're going for Nocturnal Tales, or they're going for Arcane Volumes. This is the commercial tier, if you're interested. And they put a graphic here, and I really love these types of graphics because they tell you what's going on. You get a free dice tower for FDM printing. Everybody gets the Forest of Fallen Royals. Everybody gets the Creek of Dark String set, and everybody gets Hunter of the Beast sets. Whispering Pages does not get the milestones. So for $4 or $5 more, you get the milestones. And don't you usually want those? So if you want to really go back, you can get a lot of stuff that you've missed with them and get the 6 throwback sets for a little bit more money. A bit more money, actually. And then the lifelong merchant site Does not allow you to have the throwback sets. It's only for the current releases, but so you don't get those, but you get the rights to sell the stuff. So and these are the miniatures that they have out. So here's for Whispering Pages what you see going on here. You get the Free Dice Tower, which is the tree here, the Forest of Fallen Royals, Creek of Dark Strings, and Hunter of the Beast. Here for Silent Beasts, you get all of this. Nocturnal Tales. I know I'm probably scrolling really fast. I'm assuming that if you really want to look at when I'm going past, you could just pause. But here's the Arcane Volumes, which is what you get as the commercial set. So there's the Dice Tower. Try to scroll in a little bit more. This bar is a bit much, sorry. There's another Dice Tower. There's the Creek of Dark Strings, so like a Pied Piper sort, and I don't know, like bards, minstrels, going back up to the Forest of Fallen Royals, basically Snow White. You know, you see there's about 6 dwarves and one on a boar. There's a man with a wolf. There's a prince on a horse, a woman on a throne, a woman with an apple and a bow. You kind of get the idea. Here's Hunter of the Beast. So you have a, obviously inspired by Beauty and the Beast. Wow, they went with I did not notice that till just now that's Lumiere. Lumiere has got a skeleton face. That is a unique take on him. There's the witch with the rose on her. So this is the old beggar lady. There is, I guess it's a female wardrobe, something maybe. We have a butler. We have, it's obviously supposed to be Cogsworth. And of course we have the Beast. Wow, that's different take on the fairy tale here. And then they have some stretch goals, which have started to unlock. And some more that can possibly come along as well. And these are the throwback sets. I'm sorry, I know that's kind of blurry. I know the Glacial Curse was not too long ago, actually, that we saw in one of the videos when I started adding them into my rotations. So these are some sets that they have already done and released as well. But anyway, I do believe that is... Oh, Game of Thrones. I did want to mention Game of Thrones is Knight Models. They're the same ones that do Harry Potter and Batman, and they did they've done a Frontier here, kind of pricey, but you're getting high quality, professionally done, detailed, official miniatures. These aren't just fan based; these are, licensed and so forth. So that's part of where the price is. And I think we've mentioned them before. This one shouldn't have many more days left on it. 6 days, yeah. So it's coming to an end pretty soon. And yeah, I just want to put a shout out to that if you haven't seen these. I know I'm scrolling really fast, sorry. Davos and Stannis. So this is not where they don't have to give you like a fake name or a very similar name. You're like, oh, I know who that is. It's an official, Jaime Lannister and his twin sister Cersei. They can call them by name. There's the Hound and the Mountain. There's Tywin and Joffrey. Yeah. So all these different characters, that you can print out and use as needed. Oh, Ed Stark. Yeah. And I think, and this was the last one I wanted to mention. This one's coming out February 24th, so just in a few days. Dungeon Blocks returns with Egyptian Temple. And I thought that was a good place to kind of end the video here. It's right at 30 minutes, and I hope that this is somewhat helpful. Sometimes people don't like it when I do these style of videos. Probably going to be working on the March preview really soon. Try to get that out, if not before the weekend's out, definitely the very first of the week, because in about a week, February is up, and I'll see you there. Thanks for watching.